So in the subject of kinematics and theory of machine, in previous lecture we have started our discussion on basic concept of kinematics and theory of machine. In that one we have discussed the basic definition of theory of machine, and then we have discussed the difference between kinematics, dynamics, kinetics and statics. And we have also discussed about the mechanism, machine and structure. And we have differentiate between the machine and structure. Machine, parts of a machine move relative to one another, while here member of structure do not have motion relative to each other. That is the first difference. Then second, the machine transfers the available energy into some useful work, while in a structure no energy is transformed into useful work. We are not getting any useful work, only the energy will be transferred. And link of a machine may transmit both power and motion, while here member of a structure transmit force only. Okay, so this is the major difference between the machine and structure. Then we have talked about a link, and we have seen different kinds of link. First is a rigid link. Rigid link, which is a one which does not undergo any deformation while transforming motion. So that type of link which is termed as a rigid link. And the example is the connecting rod, crank. Okay, these were the, and there are so many other example which is considered as a rigid link. In that one there is no deformation while transforming the motion. Then second link we have discussed is a flexible link. So a flexible link is one which partly deform in a manner not to affect the transmission of motion. Okay, so there will be a deformation, but it will be a partly deformation, and because of that partly deformation, there is no effect on the transmission of the motion. Okay, so here as you talked earlier, this is one shaft which is connected with this bearing, and we have another shaft which is connected with this bearing. And as we rotate this shaft by use of the chain, the motion will be transmitted. Okay, and there is no effect on the motion. Okay, it will, there is no loss of the motion. And this type of link which is have the example like belt, rope, chain, wires. Okay, these are the some of the link which is termed as a flexible link. And then finally we have talked about the fluid link. Okay, a fluid link is one which is formed by having a fluid in a receptacle, and the motion is transmitted through the fluid by the pressure or compression. And the examples are the hydraulic press, hydraulic jacks, hydraulic brakes. This will be termed as a fluid link. Here we use some fluid to transmit the motion and power. Okay, so these are the three types of kinematic links: rigid, flexible and fluid link. So today we are going to talk about the type of constrained motion. Types of constrained motion. So first is a completely constrained motion. So constrained motion means it has a fixed particular motion. Okay, but in that one it is completely constrained, so it cannot go in any other direction. It will be only, the motion will be only in a specified direction only. In other direction there is no motion, then it will be known as a completely, okay, it is known as a completely constrained motion. So when the motion between a pair is limited to a definite direction, okay, limited to a definite direction, irrespective of the direction of force applied. Okay, the direction of the force is not matter that either we applying from which side, but as we apply the force, the motion between the pair is limited. Then this type of motion which will be termed as a completely constrained motion. So simple example, here we have a square bar, this is the square bar, and we want to move that bar in this direction. Okay, so it can only go in this direction or in this direction. Okay, there are only the the possible way is that this one, it can only move in this direction or in this direction. Now if you want to move up or move down, it is not possible. Why? Because it is constrained. Here it is a square hole and you have fixed that into the square hole, so you cannot take it up or down. Okay, so it is not, so it is constrained. Second, if you want to rotate that square bar in the hole, it is not possible. Why? Because it is a square. So if you want to rotate that square bar into that square hole, it is not possible. Means the motion is totally constrained. Only one possibility is that it can go either in this direction or in this direction. Okay, so this way only this horizontal motion is possible. Only horizontal motion is possible in this kind of motion or pair. So this is known as a constraint. It is only move in this direction. On any other motion is not possible. So this is one example. Second example, we have a hole which is round. Okay, and in that round hole, if we take a round shaft. Okay, so now you can see it has a horizontal motion like this, and at the same time if you rotate that bar, it can rotate. Okay, so there are two motion in this one. It can go horizontally to and fro, as well as if you want to rotate it, it can rotate. So there are, as you apply the force, there may be two chance. It can go in this direction or it can may rotate either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Okay, so there are also two possibility, clockwise or anti-clockwise. So it cannot be termed as a completely constraint, because as you apply the force, it may be chance that without going to and fro, it may rotate. So it is not a constraint. But if you provide a collar over here like this, if you provide a collar at the end of the hole, both sides. Okay, so now what happened, that to and fro motion, this to and fro motion in horizontal direction is restricted. So only it has a rotary motion. It has only a rotary motion. So shaft can only rotate in that given hole. It cannot go horizontally to and fro. It cannot go vertically up and down. Only the one motion possible in this case is that it can rotate only. So this is termed as a constrained motion. So this is another example of a shaft which having a circular hole with a collar shaft. While here we have a square hole in and square bar. So in that one it has only a horizontal motion. Means it is not a horizontal, you can say. If you put it vertical, so it has a vertical. So but the meaning is that it has only one motion. Okay, no other motion is possible. Here again you can have only one motion is possible, no any other motion is possible. So that's why it is termed as a completely constrained motion. So this is one type of motion, completely constrained motion. Then second, incompletely constrained motion. So here the motion is constrained, but it is incompletely. So the same example, when the motion between a pair can take place in more than one direction, then the motion is called as an incompletely constrained motion. And the change in the direction of the impressed force may alter the direction of relative motion between the pair. So the example what we have discussed earlier, here we have a round hole, okay, round hole, and in that round hole we are using a circular shaft. So now the circular shaft has a two motion, one motion in this direction, and at the same time it can rotate, okay, it can rotate. So it has a two motion. So as you apply the force, there may be two chances. First, it may go to and fro, or second, it can have a rotary motion. So here you cannot easily judge that which type of motion is going to be placed. So this type of motion, that will be termed as a incompletely constrained motion. Then third one is a successfully constrained motion. Successfully constrained motion. So when the motion between the element forming a pair is such that the constrained motion is not completed by itself. Here we are going to get the uh, completely constrained motion, but that completely constrained motion is not going to be complete by itself, but some other means. Some other means we have some external force or some external motion, and in that case the motion is said to be a successfully constrained motion. A motion, a constrained motion is going to be successful only when if we provide the force by some other means. Okay, so it is not going to be complete by itself. So in that case the motion which is going to be complete, that is known as a successfully constrained motion. So here you can see that we have a footstep bearing, we have a footstep bearing, and in that case suppose the shaft is rotating, the shaft is rotating, okay, and at the time if you apply a load, in that case it will move down. So the downward motion is possible only when we applies the load, okay. So as we apply the load, it has a downward motion. So in that case this motion is termed as a successfully constrained motion. The constraint is there, but because of the external load, and due to that external load the shaft will move, okay. So these are the three types of constrained motion. Again, completely constrained motion, second incompletely constrained motion, and third one is a successfully constrained motion. And footstep bearing, that is the example of a successfully constrained motion. Now another topic which we are going to discuss is a kinematic pair. Here we have used the word pair, okay, a pair. In everyone we have a pair, we have a pair, okay. So what is that kinematic pair? That what we are going to discuss. So kinematic pair means the two links or elements of a machine when in contact with each other, that are said to be a pair, okay. So here in this one, this is part 1 and this is part 2, okay. So when this part 1 and part 2 are in contact with other, then this is termed as a pair. Same way here, this is part 1 and this is part 2, or element 1 and element 2. So when this element 1 and 2 are in connection with each other, it is termed as a pair. In this one again, this is element 1 and this is element 2. So when these elements are connected with each other, then it is termed as a pair. So two links or element of a machine when in contact with each other, it is said to be a forming a pair. If the relative motion between them is completely or successfully constrained, then it is known as a kinematic pair. Okay, so when it is said to be a kinematic pair, if the relative motion between them is completely or successfully constrained. So incomplete constraint, then it is not termed as a kinematic pair. But if it has a definite direction or definite motion, as we have seen in the case of a completely constrained or successfully constrained motion, then it is said to be a kinematic pair. So we are going to classify the kinematics pair. So first, according to the type of relative motion between the element, the kinematic pair, which is classified according to the type of relative motion between the element. So in that one, first category is a sliding pair. When the two elements of a pair are connected in such a way that one can only slide relative to other. Only slide means there is no rotary motion. Only sliding motion between that two pair, then it is known as a sliding pair. So simple, here this is the cylinder, okay, this is the cylinder and this one is the piston. So when this piston is moved, so there is only a sliding action between the piston and the cylinder. So this type of motion is known as a sliding pair. Okay, so the piston and cylinder, crosshead and guides of a reciprocating steam engine, ram and its guide in a shaper, tailstock on the lathe bed. Okay, so these are the some of the example of a sliding pair. And a little consideration will show that a sliding pair has a completely constrained motion. Sliding pair has a completely constrained motion. At that time, there is no rotary motion of the piston. Okay, if you see here. So generally, it has a completely constrained motion, means it can move only in a definite or specific direction only. So this is termed as a sliding pair. When one pair is having a only sliding motion with respect to other element, then it is termed as a sliding pair. Then second, a turning pair. Turning pair. So when the two elements of a pair are connected in such a way that one can only turn or revolve about the fixed axis of the other link, then it is termed as a turning pair. Here it has only a slide motion relative to other, while here it has only turn or revolve about the fixed axis of the link. Okay, and that is termed as a turning pair. So the example is there here, a shaft with a collar at both end fitted into a circular hole. This one we have already discussed, this one. Okay, so here we have a shaft which is connected to the hole, but it has a collar at the both ends. Here this is the collars. Okay, collar at the both ends. So this sliding motion is restricted and there is only a revolving motion. Okay, rotating means it is a revolving motion and this one is a sliding motion. So this sliding motion is completely restricted so that it has only a rotary or revolving motion. So this is the example of a revolving pair. The crankshaft in a journal bearing in an engine, and the lead spindle supported in a head stroke, and a cycle wheels turning over their axis. These are the some of the example of a turning pair. And again, the turning pair is a completely constrained motion. Okay, so here the example is given that we have this circular hole, or means we have a bearing over here. This is the bearing. Okay, and we have a shaft, circular shaft. So that shaft can only rotate in that bearing. Okay, so this is the example of a turning pair. It can only turn or revolve. Okay, so this is the example of a turning pair. Then next one is a rolling pair. Rolling pair. So there is a slight difference between this turning pair and rolling pair. In that turning pair, this whole is rotating. Just we will see the here. When the two elements of a pair are connected in such a way that one rolls over another. Okay, one rolls over another fixing, and this pair is known as a rolling pair. Okay, so ball and roller bearing are the example of a rolling pair. Okay, so here this is the ball, which is one element, and this inner case or outer case, that will be considered as another element. Okay, so here this ball is only a rolling. Okay, the ball is rolling all over the periphery, so that's why it is known as a rolling pair. Okay, while here the shaft is rotating. The shaft is rotating inside the hole, while here the balls are rolling, so that's why it is termed as a rolling pair. So when it will move, it has a rolling action, and due to that rolling action, the ball will rotate or ball will move in that particular case. So this is come as a rolling pair. Then we have a screw pair. When the two elements of a pair are connected in such a way that one element can turn about the other by screw thread. Okay, there will be a turning action, but that turning action is only because of this screw thread. Then it is termed as a screw pair. Okay, so screw has a two motion. First, it has a motion, sliding motion, as well as it is rotating or turning. That's why it has a sliding motion, because of the turning of this screw, or turning of one pair, one element with respect to another. So in that case, we have this motion, and that is known as a screw pair. Here it is not termed as a circular pair. Why? Because in that circular pair, it is rotating at a fixed position only. It is not having a sliding motion. But here we have a sliding and rolling. Both action are simultaneously occurs. So, and that motion is only because of the one element which can turn over the another element, and this type of pair which is termed as a screw pair. Okay, so in that first category, according to the type of relative motion between the element, we have four pair. First is a sliding pair, second turning pair, third rolling pair, and fourth one is a screw pair. Now next one is in the same category is a spherical pair. When the element of a pair are connected in such a way that one element turn or swivel about the other fixed element, and then it is termed as a spherical pair. Okay, so we here we have a one ball, okay, which is in a sprocket. Okay, so the motion of that ball in that sprocket, which is termed as a spherical pair. Okay, and one another example you have seen, that is the attachment of a mirror in car or in your bike. Okay, so your mirror can rotate in some only some particular direction because of the ball which is fixed into that mirror end. Okay, so that motion that we got, it is termed as a spherical pair. Okay, so these are the five motion between the according to the types of relative motion between the element. Then second, according to the type of contact between the element. First one is according to the types of the relative motion between the element, and in that one we have a sliding pair, turning pair, rolling pair, screw pair, and spherical pair. While here second category of the kinematic pair is according to the type of contact between the element. So again here first one is a lower pair. So what is lower pair? That when the two elements of a pair have a surface contact, when relative motion takes place and the surface of one element slides over the other, then the formed pair which is termed as a lower pair. Okay, so here you can see that we have one hole over here, and in that hole we have a circular bar. So when this circular bar will rotate, it has a surface contact all over the whole periphery. So that's why it is termed as a surface contact, and it is a lower pair. Same way here, when the square bar is rotating in a square hole in this motion, in that case the whole surface area of all the sides of that square bar which is going to be in contact, so it is also surface contact. Same way here, the whole surface of the screw which is in contact, this whole surface is in contact, so that's why it is also known as a lower pair. Same way, if we have a cylindrical like this, it has only rotary motion, but if it is at a rotary as well as a sliding motion, again we have this whole area which is having a surface contact. Same way here, the ball which is inside this uh, spherical socket, so again it has a sliding pair, and again this one element which is sliding over the another, so this whole area is under a surface contact. So this type of a pair which is known as a lower pair, where we have a surface contact, and another one is a higher pair. Higher pair, when the two elements of a pair having a line or a point contact, when relative motion takes place, and the motion between the two elements is partly turning or partly sliding, then it is known as a higher pair. Okay, so here we have a line or point contact, while here we have a surface contact. The whole surface of one element is in contact with the another element, while here only a line or point of one element which is in contact with the another element. Okay, so the example, a pair of friction disc tooth gearing, okay, belt and a rope drive. Okay, so suppose here and the example given over here is a cam and follower. Okay, so this is the follower and this is the cam. Okay, so the cam will rotate, sorry, the follower rotate only in this line through on the whole periphery of the cam, and it has only a point contact over here. So that's why it is known as a higher pair. Okay, same way if we take the example, if we have two pulleys and on that pulley we have a rope wounded like this, and if you see the side view of the pulley, this is the side view of the pulley and this one is the cross section of the rope. Okay, so it has only a termed as a only point contact over here. Okay, so this is the example of a higher pair. So in this category, first we have a lower pair, second is a higher pair. So first type is according to the relative motion between the element, second according to the contact between the element. In that one we have a higher pair and lower pair. Then third one is according to type of closure. So first one is a self closed pair. So when the two elements of a pair are connected together mechanically in such a way that only required kind of relative motion occurs, and it is known as a self-closed pair. When the two elements of a pair are connected together mechanically in such a way that only required kind of relative motion occurs, then it is known as a self-closed pair. So here we know that if we have the rotary motion of this nut, we have the translatory motion of this bolt. Okay, so or vice versa, if we have a translatory motion of this bolt, we have a rotary motion according to that nut. Okay, so this is termed as a self closed pair. Then second one is a forced closed pair. When the two elements of a pair are connected mechanically but are kept in contact by the action of external force, then the pair is to be said as a closed pair. So here you can see this is element number 1 and this is the element number 2. Now this element number 1 and element number 2, which is kept in contact here because of the spring tension. Okay, so the spring will force down so that this element which remain in contact with this element 1 throughout the rotation. So in that one the pair is closed, the element 1 and element 2 which is in contact, but here the pair is because of only the external force which is supplied by the spring only. So that's why it is known as a force closed pair, and the example is given here is cam and follower with a spring. So here the spring which is acting as a force of external force, and this is termed as a force pair. So first one is a self closed pair. In that one we are not applying any external force to close the to having the motion between the two. Here we have a external force, so this is called as a force closed pair. So in this one we have talked so many things. First, classification of kinematic pair according to the type of relative motion between the element. In that one, first we have a sliding pair, B turning pair, C rolling pair, D screw pair, and fifth spherical pair. Then second classification according to the type of contact between the element. In that one, A is a lower pair, B is a higher pair. And then third, according to the type of closure. So A is a self-closed pair and B is a forced closed pair. Okay, so this classification is very important and it may ask in your exam. Then we have a kinematic chain. Another topic is a kinematic chain. So when the kinematic pair, okay, so when the kinematic chain will form if we have a kinematic pair. Okay, so when the kinematic pairs are coupled in such a way that the last link is joined to the first link to transmit a defined motion. Okay, then it is called as a kinematic chain. Again, when the kinematic pairs are coupled in such a way that the last link is joined to the first link to transmit the defined motion. So in that case, we have a completely or successfully constrained motion. Then and then we are going to get some work. So that one is known as a kinematic chain. So last link, which is somehow connected with the first link, and whatever the motion transmitted by the first link, okay, that will pass through the pass to the last link, and that is known as a kinematic chain. So in other word, a kinematic chain may be defined as a combination of kinematic pair. Okay, so it is a combination of kinematic pairs joined in a such a way that each link forms a part of two pair and the relative motion between the link or the element is completely constrained. So example is that the crankshaft of an engine forms a kinematic pair with the bearing, which are fixed in a pair, and the connecting rod with the crank form a second pair, and the piston with the connecting rod form a third pair, and the piston with the cylinder form the fourth pair. So total there are three links or pair in a kinematic chain. Okay, so if you draw the diagram here, I'm just drawing a rough diagram. Okay, so this is the cylinder, this one is the piston. Okay, we have a connecting rod and this is the crankshaft. Okay, so 1 2 3 element and cylinder is a fourth element. Now 1 and 2 which is connected over here, so this is one pair. Then 2 and 3 which is connected over here, so this is the second pair, and then 3 and 4 which are connected by the sliding pair over here, so this is termed as a third pair. Okay, so we have total 3 pair which are connected, and whatever the motion that will be transmitted by this cylinder. Okay, so this is how we can get whatever the motion is transmitted, which will transfer to the another link. So this is how it is termed as a kinematic chain. In that one we have a combination of pair, but the motion or power of the first link which is transmitted to the last link, then it is termed as a kinematic chain. So what are the detail in kinematic chain, that what we are going to discuss in our next lecture.